Please welcome UiPath's Chief Product Officer, Graham Sheldon.
Thank you so much for being here. At UiPath, we're a really, truly global company with global customers who have global concerns. And over this last year, we have learned so much about the power of what AI and automation can do. And this is truly, I believe, a special moment in time where we will look back and we will think about this moment just like we saw with the advent of personal computing, the internet, and mobile computing devices, as a moment where we fundamentally changed the way that we all work. I really hope that my kids, years from now, will look back and will say, wow, Dad, this whole industry changed the way that I could go to school, the way that I could go and be an astronaut or a doctor or a physicist and not have to go study how to enter data into more applications. I hope that, like you, my kids never have to go to school and take a data entry or a forms filling class. And that today, the best way to solve some of the challenges that Daniel laid out in his vision for the future are by coming together and bringing the smartest folks, every single one of you, our customers and our partners, to help us and partner with us to build this new reality. So we're here to share our vision, and I'm going to share the product strategy that we've got to share with you today, but also to listen and to learn. So please, take this opportunity. Tell us about your hardest, your most interesting use cases, and let's make them a reality together. So let's talk about what we've learned over the last year or so. And I want to focus on a couple of our customer stories where they've been able to harness the power of AI plus automation to get those magical business needs solved. I want to start with IAG. IAG is the parent company of British Airways, and they're using document understanding to extract data from hundreds of documents and thousands of data points. They're leveraging communications mining and Action Center to extract all the key information and make absolutely sure that they are meeting all of their contractual obligations. And they've saved millions out of contract leakage from focusing on these problems, but they've also managed to increase the NPS, customer satisfaction, for these processes because now they're able to deal with customer cash refunds in under a minute and reduced all those processing costs. Next, let's focus on Komatsu. Komatsu is a global leader in manufacturing and services for construction, mining, utility, forestry, and other industrial machinery. And what they've done is they've actually focused on using process mining so that they're really pinpointing all of the problems in their purchase-to-pay process and are able to make continuous improvements to that because they're taking a data-driven approach. And what that's done for them is that they've created real impact in terms of reducing the late deliveries, they've improved throughput, and they're saving millions by reducing maverick buying within their systems. They're committed to this continuous improvement and view process mining as a key thing to be able to unlock the next set of productivity. Each one of these customers are using UiPath to address the unique challenges in their business, but there's still so much opportunity left. What we've seen as we've talked to these customers, it is still the case that there is a huge fragmentation across the technology landscape. Over 175 different applications at a typical enterprise. And a major reason is that so much of the technology investments are locked into siloed investments. And what that means is that your employees have to be the ones that are integrating all of this. Real work happens across all of these applications, across all of the people, across all of the systems. And AI has actually made it worse, not better. Everybody's got their own model. Everybody's got their own AI tool. In some cases, it's made it worse because it's actually taking all that data out and exposing it in ways that was never anticipated and in scary kind of ways. We've learned very clearly that trust really matters. So in order to go tackle some of these new problems, we've obviously put robots to good work on that left brain, logical, rules-based problems. And now it's time to apply the agents to the right brain problems, the more adaptive tasks. Because where we're going to focus now is on the more variable and complex workflows, where there's still too much manual work happening, where people are left to do all of that hard work. And unlock all the potential that's in the unstructured data that's sitting in those silos so that you can properly utilize them for the given task. And this is a challenge that UiPath and all of our partners and customers are uniquely positioned to take on. Why? Because we have the best-in-class robots. Those robots are going to help the agents. The agents are nothing without the right tools. Robots and the platform that they sit upon are that way to be able to carry out the right set of tasks and do so in a way that's well-governed. And let's go talk about now how we make this real, how robots and agents and people come together and we can orchestrate all of them and the models that they use in the UiPath platform, where we are doubling down as a product group is on the following set of things. This is our key product strategy for the coming years. First and foremost, we're going to introduce agents into the platform, and I will show that to you in a few minutes. But these are not just any agent. These are enterprise agents. The significance of that is that they are trustworthy. You will be able to trust them to act independently and to take action on these dynamic decisions where the context matters. Secondly, you will be able to orchestrate those agents and other agents, whether they're in our system or in others across your ecosystem, to be able to do work with the robots, with the people, with the models. And then they will make use of our best-in-class automation platform. You're going to hear a lot about agents today. We are not letting up on automation. Core automation is not yet a solved problem. You need, and customers have been very clear, you still need us to give you best-in-class UI automation, best-in-class API automation, best-in-class IDP, process mining, application testing, and document understanding. You need it, we're going to give it to you. In part because those are the scenarios that you need to start with, but then to provide the right tools to the agents. And then doing all of that on a cloud that you actually trust and can manage. So, the first best example that I want to focus on as the first best agent in our system is Autopilot. And we started, the first flight of Autopilot was for developers and testers. And we've seen some amazing results. In just the last year, Autopilot is already transforming the center of excellence. Autopilot is delivering real business outcomes. Tens of thousands of users are using Autopilot every day. They're generating hundreds of thousands of requests, and they're producing amazing results, like for Cisco. It's completely transformed the way they do software development across the entire life cycle, from creating stories to generating test cases to analyzing those test cases. They've almost cut their manual test effort in half because they've been able to reduce the effort spent on the test case creation by 70% and 95% reduction in the effort spent on the test data creation. Those are some massive results, and every single customer should be trying out Autopilot today. But the next journey, the next flight, if you will, for Autopilot, as Daniel mentioned, is for everyone, for every single business user, from every leader, every executive, every line of business. Autopilot for everyone is poised to change the way people work. And why? Because just like the real work, it goes across all of your applications. Because it's on our platform, it has access to the right tools, all of the existing automations that you've already created. And it's really great at being able to process digital documents because we've baked in all of the good models that we have in our intelligent document processing, as well as all of the technology we developed for Clipboard AI. So Clipboard AI will actually ship inside of Autopilot. And over time, because it has this notion of memory that Daniel talked about, it will learn the way that you work. And it'll figure out and create next best recommendations for what to do and help you get your jobs done more effectively and more efficiently. So, like any collaborator assistant, it's that real communication stuff that matters. And Autopilot is a combination of many, many different models. Just like the automations you will create, you will use many models. And to make sure that we had the best possible model, we partnered with Anthropic for the basic conversation understanding that underpins Autopilot. So I'm proud to announce a partnership with Anthropic and the use of Claude in Autopilot. Our strategy is simple. We're going to work with the absolute best UI. We're taking an open and flexible approach to how we build every single AI tool and encourage you to do the same. And we chose Claude after a bunch of internal experiments and with feedback from our customers because it was the clearest for clarity, but also just for accuracy. And so our customers are really excited and doing way more than we ever thought possible with Autopilot, with these models and capabilities. And they're using Autopilot as their agent to do business-specific things in their applications and in their workflows. And I'd like to take a time to highlight just a few. The first is Dentsu. So I'm sure many of you have seen this before. You have new employees who join the company, and they don't know where all of these policies are. The company-specific policies are locked away somewhere, and they go through and they have to ask very basic questions. It takes a lot of time. It's annoying to have to answer those questions. You say, hey, come on, just go look at the policy. It tells you when you need to submit your expense reports. It tells you when you have to go fill out your performance reviews. And these are things that you won't find on ChatGPT. Questions like, hey, how long do I have before I have to complete my performance review? Who do I need to give feedback to? Autopilot also enables Dentsu's employees to feel more confident about actually completing their performance reviews, and in the future is going to expedite that process and really drive that employee experience. It was really inspirational to hear from Flo and Alex last night about how this is becoming an integral part of their strategy to make that employee experience better. So we're speeding up using Autopilot to speed up the performance review process here at Dentsu. At WEX, our next example, I know how annoying it is. My team tells me all the time, it's super annoying to have to remember all the stuff that I say during review and then come back and then they have to report on the action items and take all the meeting notes and make that something that is going to drive the next set of good decisions. At WEX, they're analyzing all the call transcripts, gathering data from multiple sources, and putting together actual decks and slides with action items to help prepare for those executive meetings. It makes life way easier on the team members at WEX so that they can brief the execs quickly and effectively and get back to that critical work and get out of that. And they don't have to come and bother me for those things that drive them nuts. So, the last but not least, I want to focus on another work task that people just really, is not just saving time. It's not just making people more productive, but it's actually saving lives. I want to show you a great use case from a customer of ours that we've partnered very deeply with, CSL Behring, who's taking plasma donations. To show you how CSL is actually taking advantage of Autopilot and to show you the future, where we're going with Autopilot, I'd like to welcome Imran Aziz to the stage and show us how it works. Imran, great to see you.
Thank you, Graham. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to present Autopilot to you. CSL has been an amazing customer. It's personally been gratifying to work with them because plasma donorship enables medications to be created that cure rare diseases and chronic conditions. Any errors that plasma donor clinicians make along the process can cause medications, worst case, to be pulled off shelves. And as you can imagine, that's a pretty costly process. We work closely with CSL Plasma team to build a very highly accurate medical agent with Autopilot. This was possible because we incorporated context grounding, specialized AI models, generative AI models, clipboard AI, like Daniel and Graham mentioned, which is now integrated with Autopilot, along with the leading RPA automations. And I'd love to show you how that works.
Let's do it.
So one of the things that we made easy for clinicians is they can start with a simple dashboard that COE can provide for them with the commonly used prompts that clinicians have to enter. So as an example, if I particularly start and operate as a clinician, I might have to type in a medical condition along with medications that this particular patient is taking. So in this case, they told me that they took Accutane 3 months ago. And as a clinician, I might not know all the information required to answer that or onboard the particular donor, but that's no problem. Autopilot, behind the scenes, is going to correlate the prompt, the complex prompt I gave it. It's going to look at all the medical documents available that CSL has provided, and it's going to provide a recommendation. Now, this is possible because of Gen AI, our ability to look up complex tokens and documents, and also provide citations so that you feel confident in your recommendation. And this is a particular breakthrough for us with CSL because all these documents and citations were really, really important for these clinicians to feel comfortable using AI and Autopilot. As you can see here, you have a medications list, and not only answering about Accutane, which is this particular case, but I can look at other medications that might be interesting for future patients. Or
I'm sure that's hard to remember.
That's hard to remember. There's a lot of medication. I was working 3 months with this particular customer, and I think I've maybe taken 1% of the knowledge of what clinicians would need to know. So now that the donor is able to donate plasma, and I know that, what I'm going to do next is simply just drag a document which enables me to onboard the donor. And this is possible here because UiPath, as you know, has highly specialized AI models, which are 99.99% precise in how they extract information. So in this case, I provided a driver's license, which the donor has attached, and it's going to extract information from this driver's license. But Autopilot not only can do that, it knows that the next step in this process is an automation. And before this, I had to manually go to an MMS system and upload all this information in there. But since Autopilot realized there's an automation in place, it's automatically captured all that data in there through the driver's license. And then next step is it's going to run the automation to populate that system of record. And as you can imagine, typing things manually, you can make errors. It's not just about productivity, but it's really about the consistency and the quality of execution and ensuring that system of record is kept accurate. And so once it's done with this, another thing we've built into Autopilot is a learning system. So as you can imagine, if I do hundreds of these kind of cases, there's times where I might forget notes that need to be captured, particularly with this patient's condition. And so what Autopilot realizes is that that is an important part of the process. And next, what it's going to show you is a summarization of those conversation around the medication they take, the history, and it's going to be able to add that as a system of record so that the profile is extremely complete. Last but not least, I reserved the clipboard AI portion for this part. So let me show you what you can now do with clipboard AI. So one of the things that happens with clinicians is that everything doesn't always go as planned. So you onboarded the clinician, but the donor, but sometimes you get medications lists that happen ad hoc. And so in this case, we got a medication list uploaded by the patient later, but that's no problem. With what we can do with Autopilot is I can simply ask it, hey, I received this medications list from the doctor. Is it possible for you to enter this into the system of record as well? What we've done is, as you might have noted, that medication list had handwriting in it, it has structured information, but that's not a problem because our models can understand handwriting. They can translate that into a very structured form, which Autopilot should be able to render in a table. And once it's in a structured form, you can do multiple things with it. You can paste it to a spreadsheet. You can paste it to a web form, which I'll show you. You can even paste it into enterprise ERP apps that exist. So, and I don't even need to build an automation for that. This is just baked into our core platform. So here, all I need to do is I'm going to select the target app, which is a web form with Google in this case, Google Chrome, and click on the paste button. So first thing it's going to do is going to take the first row, paste it into the form. But as you can see, there's 4 rows of medications. I'm not going to go through all of them, but a few clicks, and I can pretty much put that whole table in a system of record. No errors in manual typing, and I'm off the road.
Wow, that's really impressive. Imran, I can see how this is really going to change things for a clinician at CSL. But is there a better way for us to do this? What's coming next with Autopilot? Can we make it more proactive, maybe?
I was afraid you were going to ask that, but I was prepared. I was ready to show something. So CSL plasma clinicians, if you started using Autopilot, it's been groundbreaking for them. It's just so nice to see what they can accomplish now. But we can do a lot more. Now, clinicians still have to go through a lot of these tasks manually, one by one. But imagine for a moment that if I have these tasks in Autopilot as my action center tasks that you can see here, and if I could simply just, using English, describe to Autopilot saying, hey, I do this every morning. Could you automate some of these, particularly the ones that are low risk, where maybe there's not a complicated medical history or diagnosis? So simply using an English language prompt, I'm going to ask Autopilot to go through my Action Center tasks, be able to potentially flag donors, either approve them, reject them, or flag them for human review. And flagging for human review is super important, as Daniel Graham mentioned, because we want to empower agency, but we want to do it in a very trustworthy, safe manner. And so that is, you'll see how that happens. But here you go. What Autopilot is going to do here behind the scenes is, since I've gone through over the last month processing hundreds of cases, it has that knowledge. So it's going to use that knowledge of what I typed in, what are low risk, what's high risk. It's going to also know the prompt that I provided, the context grounding information, and our tuned model on how to generate an agent. And very soon, it will actually create the agent for me on the fly. Now, this was not possible as a clinician 3 years ago, or even last year. But what our goal is to empower anyone, whether you are a domain expert as a clinician, you're a nurse, you can create and improve your personal productivity. So I think Autopilot created the agent for me, and it's running it as well, because I have some donors to process. It's actually going to start running it on the side. And I just show you a little glimpse of what this agent was built. There's a visual diagram here as well. We're going to easily see what the agentic flow is. So as a human, I can trust that, okay, it's going to flag donors, it's not going to automatically proceed and do certain tasks, so and which is really important. So here, the Action Center task that I mentioned, here Autopilot is basically looking at the conditions, which is their weight, what is their medical history, and that's how it's going to figure out whether it's a low-risk donor or something that needs a human review. Last but not least, Graham, there's an important step which CSL plasma clinicians told me they'd like to do, which is, hey, if I build confidence on this agent, can you just schedule it either in the morning or based on a request that I received? So we built in capabilities into Autopilot where now you can schedule it. So in this particular case, I'm happy with this agent. I'm going to say, please run it 9 in the morning. That's when I typically get to work. And process the low-risk donors for me. Now, 50% of my backlog's taken. I can focus my energy on clients, high-risk cases, and there we go. We're off to the start.
Amazing, Imran. Thank you so much,
Graham. Appreciate it.
So it's a really moving example, and you're seeing how Autopilot as an agent is actually going to create new specialized agents that are proactively working on the clinician's behalf. It's my real pleasure to announce to you, Daniel stole my thunder a little bit earlier, but he said we are going to GA, and Autopilot for everyone is now generally available for all of you. But I have a surprise for him, too. He didn't get to do this part. It's not only is it generally available, but it's also free to get started. So we're thrilled to offer Autopilot to all of you. We want to see you go and do some amazing things with it. And yes, we're going to give you a certain amount of free usage, and then over time, we will monetize the consumption of Autopilot as we go on. And the reason why customers like CSL have found Autopilot to be so impactful is that our approach to bringing AI and automation together for an agent experience like this. AI plus automation, as we've learned by working with each and every one of you, you need some really critical key things to make it successful. First is making sure you have the right context to provide the right answer. The second is using the right model for the right problem. Not all models are the same, and it's not appropriate to use those models. You want to have the right ones. And then you want to take the right actions, whether it be processing it with an automation or bringing a human in the loop for those critical decisions on a platform that you trust. Again, for CSL, that RAG pattern, where we were able to take those hundreds of pages of different conditions and the types of medications that might be there, and make that available at someone's fingertips so they don't have to go sift through it. Which is part of the reason why I'm excited that context grounding is now generally available in Autopilot and through the generative AI activities in every single one of your automations. These capabilities in document understanding, in communications mining, and integrated into the complete automation platform are why we've been recognized by Everest, by IDC, by Forrester, all of these analysts consistently as a leader in intelligent document processing. And it's helped customers like Thermo Fisher Scientific in very real ways. So Thermo Fisher are processing hundreds of thousands of documents annually with document understanding, and as a result, they're able to give back thousands of hours to their employees to focus on the work that really matters to them and work on the more complex and strategic projects. And documents are clearly a critical part of every business operation, and they come in all sorts of types. So our approach to this is to try to deal with those in a complete way. So we have capabilities for structured documents like ID cards, semi-structured ones like invoices and purchase orders and bills of lading, as well as the sort of long tail of unstructured documents where you might have embedded tables and charts. And for those things like lease agreements and supplier agreements, you want to make sure that you've got all that data at your fingertips to drive those processes. And for those really mission-critical processes, you demand the highest level of accuracy. So we have 70 out-of-the-box specialized AI models, and those models will work often very well right at the outset, but sometimes you want to be able to fine-tune those to get the accuracy even higher. In order to do that, you need to do this fine-tuning of your custom models, and I'm really proud that the team is going to be delivering for you custom model fine-tuning through DocPath LLM, and that is now generally available. So the next sort of evolution of this will be to actually try to apply that also to the unstructured documents. And those unstructured documents are particularly tricky because they tend to be very long. They might have embedded graphics. They might have embedded tables. They've got hundreds of pages and maybe thousands of data points that you need. These are things like financial records. They're things like those policy documents that CSL was using. And for those, we're taking a new approach where we're going to have reducing the amount of training that's necessary. We're going to be offering field-level metrics so that you can really fine-tune the individual parts that you really want to be able to focus on, the particular elements that matter, and then put it into a structured form so that you can use it in your automations. And for that, I'm proud to announce that we've got the private preview for unstructured documents offered through our IDP offerings, Document Understanding. All right, a lot about documents. And we're very proud of our documents, but there's obviously other scenarios that we want to apply AI to. And that's why we've taken a very open approach to this. And we have support for the entire Gen AI ecosystem through integration service with connectors for OpenAI, Azure, Amazon, Google, Anthropic, IBM, and even if you have your own models, you can integrate and bring your own models into and governed by the UiPath platform for AI orchestration by using Connector Builder. So if you've got a RESTful endpoint, you can use Connector Builder to bring those AI models so that you've got an end-to-end view over all of your system's usage of AI. And I encourage all of you to take a look at that stuff. This is all available right now on the Automation Cloud. And that is obviously going to ensure you have the access to the latest and greatest, best models at any time you need to integrate them into your workflows. And some of you, though, are probably asking, well, how about the on-premises folks? If you're in an environment where you're a highly regulated industry or you've got special security and governance and compliance needs, you're going to stay on-prem, and we understand that. And we're going to continue to offer support for self-hosting in Automation Suite. And we are, in order to help support that, I'm happy to announce we're going to be partnering with Inflection AI and some of the great work that they're doing with Dell and Intel to bring generative AI on-premise. So, new partnership with Inflection AI for trusted on-premise generative AI. This is key because trust is at the basis of all of these bets that you're making on AI, and that is of the utmost importance. Speaking of trust, our trust layer is something that we announced last year, and I have some very exciting news about that. Part of the trust layer is making sure that you can monitor and audit what's happening, who is using which models and in what circumstances to make sure that it's not being misused. So, I'm very happy to tell you that monitoring and auditing is now available, generally available in the AI trust layer. That's now available to everyone in the cloud. And I encourage you to come tomorrow. Tomorrow, our CTO, Raghu, will be talking in depth about how our approach to trust is going to allow you to make sure that you adhere to all of your compliance and regulatory requirements in detail. So, there's a lot of great capabilities there in the automation platform that are available to our robots, that are available to the agents. And I know what you're asking now. It's like, okay, you've been talking a lot about agents. How do I build them in your platform? So where do we go from here? The agent future is here, and the agent future is exciting. In order to show you how you can create your own agents with our new Agent Builder experience, I'd like to introduce you to Taki Joffrey. Welcome, Taki.
Thank you, Graham. Excited to be here.
There you go.
Hey, everyone. I'm Taki. I'm a product manager working on UiPath Enterprise Agents. And let's talk about something that many of you are familiar with, processing vendor invoices. And you trust robots to do two-way matching between vendor invoices and your purchase orders. But what happens when things don't match? Well, today, humans have to step in and spend hours and days investigating these mismatches and resolving disputes. So, if you could click next, please. Oh,
that's the one.
OK, well, so with UiPath Enterprise Agents, yes, thank you, that's the one. So with UiPath Enterprise Agents, we can actually automate this entire process end to end. And this uses a combination of robots and agents. Humans are still involved, but only for the most critical decisions and approvals. So I'm going to show you folks how we can actually build the first agent in this agentic workflow. OK? Thank you. So it's actually really easy to get started. I'm going to show you how. We've already built a lot of agents for you in the UiPath agent catalog. And you can use these as is, or you can customize them to suit your needs. So I'm going to go here. There's a pre-built dispute investigation agent. And I can use this as a starting point. So I'm going to open it up in the brand new UiPath Agent Builder. So here it is. This is our new low-code experience to build agents that don't just work. They work reliably and effectively for business-critical processes. So these UiPath Enterprise Agents have 4 key components. First, you can simply instruct the agent in natural language. Here you can see that I've given it a specialized role and a clear goal to investigate these invoice disputes. Second, agents need tools to do their job. So I've given this agent access to supplier information in SAP and a parts list reader so it can actually go research information about these parts. And here, let's take a look at what other tools are available. And Graham, I heard you say earlier that agents are only as good as the tools we give them. So our agents can use the entire UiPath platform as tools.
Wow.
And yeah, so this means all the connectors, all the activities, the millions of automations that everybody has been creating for years, even other agents can be used as tools. Think about that.
That's pretty powerful.
Right? And folks, these are not just personal productivity tools or something like that. These are real business systems. These are like enterprise systems of record. So thanks to the UiPath platform, no one else has agents with tools this powerful. Okay, so let's keep going. And I'm going to look at this next component of the agent, which is that I can give the agent access to enterprise context. So it can refer to the company policy documents, purchase orders, information like that, which is just like a member of your finance team. And it's important to note here that this is using the context grounding service that just went GA this week. Okay? And here, we know that agents will sometimes need help. So we've baked this concept of escalations right into the definition of the agent. Because sometimes information will be missing or incorrect. And we don't want the agent to just make up an answer. We want it to ask a human for help. So here, as you can see, I've asked this agent to contact me via the UiPath Action Center in case it cannot find the email address of the supplier to go contact. So that's how you design an agent. Do you want to see a live demo?
Absolutely.
Want to see a live demo, folks? OK, let's go. Thank you.
Let's give it a spin.
Yeah, let's go. So I've given the agent some example inputs about some mismatched items. And I'm just going to click Run here. And the first thing it's going to do is create a plan. This is a dynamic plan that changes every time. It's decided to use the parts list reader to go research information about some of these parts. Momentarily, it should be referring to those enterprise policy documents that I gave it access to. There you go. And now it's analyzing that information and deciding what to do next. So it's decided to go look at SAP for the email address of the supplier. And folks, this is unique to UiPath Enterprise Agents because as you see, this is running a UI automation to get that information from SAP S4 directly. So now we're back to Agent Builder. It's reviewing the information it got back. And let's see what happened here. So, OK, what it's telling me is that the email address of this supplier was not found in SAP. So just like I instructed it, it's decided to escalate to a human. So let's go take a look in the UiPath Action Center. I'm going to hit refresh here. And here's the escalation. It's showing up as a message for me in my Action Center. And of course, I can just respond with the email address that was missing in SAP. But what's important to note is that for this supplier, the agent will not ask me again. Because agents have memory, just like humans do. So it's going to get better over time. So I'm going to submit this response here. And let's go back to Agent Builder. So, OK, now we've designed the agent and we ran it once. But we might be wondering, how well does it do in real-world conditions under many, many different situations? So for that, we've built this concept of evaluations into the Agent Builder. And so I'm going to go here to look at my previous evaluation runs. And you can see a score of how well this agent is doing against various different real-world situations. And that is critical for enterprise agents because accuracy is paramount. OK, so now we've designed the agent. We've evaluated it. We are reassured that it's doing its job well. How do we deploy it? So we're giving you 2 easy ways to deploy these agents. First, I can just click this button right here. And UiPath will automatically create an app for the agent. And so I previously did that. And here's an example of a conversational experience powered by an agent that was built in Agent Builder. And of course, so as you can see, I asked a question, it answered it, it has a citation. And this experience can be fully customized by automation developers. And of course, you can create other experiences that are not conversational or more customized than this. But everybody has conversational agents nowadays, right? So what else can UiPath Enterprise agents do? Well, because our agents have structured inputs and outputs, you can add them directly to workflows as activities. Wow. And now those workflows become agentic workflows. So you can either create new workflows with agents, or you can actually start upgrading your existing workflows to add agents, and now those workflows become agentic as well. So now all of those tasks that you could never automate before, that were too complicated, can now be automated with agents. Thank you. That's the demo.
Fantastic. Thanks,
Thank you, Graham. Go agents.
Go agents. So you've just seen how agents are going to be incorporated into our UiPath platform. And so now there's a whole host of brand new scenarios you can go after. Or you can take your existing automations and upgrade them and include agents to do some of that harder to do types of tasks. It's really exciting, and I'm really excited. Agent Builder is now available for you to sign up and get access to. So at the very end of my presentation, make sure you're paying attention because there's going to be a QR code for you to sign up. And also, everybody around here has stickers with them. So find someone, sign up, and to get access to the preview. So what did you just see? Let me just recap that. We now have agents on the platform. The agents take these instructions, the models, the context, and critically, the best-in-class tools for agents. They will be able to be composed in workflows with robots, with people for human in the loop, and with your models to be able to construct end-to-end workflows on the platform. You'll be able to build them with the Builder in Studio. You'll have access to some out of the box to get started in the catalog and to be able to create these conversational apps to accompany them. So you can have agents that are both reactive and proactive, running on the service and in the cloud on the trust layer. So these are all coming soon. Please do sign up for the preview. The reason that we are so confident about UiPath as the best platform to build, test, and deploy these agents, Daniel talked a little bit about before. The first is that the agents need the best tools, and those tools come from the best-in-class automations. They are both powerful and they are well governed. The robots and the workflows only do what you ask them to do. The agents won't be able to go outside of that, and when they're confused, as you saw, they can escalate. That means you can construct end-to-end agentic orchestrated workflows. And we work really well across all third-party systems. And that equal access means that we can do the real work that traverses them, including when it involves other agents from other platforms. And then, of course, it all runs according to our trust and governance principles on top of the platform in a way that you can drive the accuracy and reliability up as high as possible. These are not just agents, they are enterprise agents. Before I leave you today, I want to just take a moment to help you understand what makes UiPath uniquely suited to guide you through this era of agentic automation with confidence. I've said this before, last forward, and I said, AI without automation is like a brain without a body. And the same is true for agents. Agents are nothing without the right tools. Think about it. What's an artist without a canvas? What's a musician without their instruments, without the orchestra? And what's a pilot without a plane? Or, I don't know, maybe a co-pilot without a plane. Bad joke, maybe. We invite you to be the first to build an agent on the UiPath platform and to register right now to get the preview, because with UiPath, we're going to provide you with all the essential tools. Every single automation that you've already built, the UI automations, the API automations, the IDP solutions that you have will allow you to work effectively across the entire organization with agents, with robots, with people to get work done. They will work across all of your systems. They understand how that work really gets done and adapt and get better over time. And they operate according to your governance, your compliance, and your security policies so that you can trust what they're doing is the right thing. Work with us, and together, I have confidence we will reimagine the way work gets done. We will accelerate human achievement together. Thank you so much.